I'd like to call a meeting to order. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes of the June 10th, 2028, 26?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, on the communication report, we've got the operating report for this June summary 2026.
So as normal, if you have any questions, let me know. We averaged 2.8 million gallons, had a max of 5.5 million with one of the storms. Removal efficiencies for BOD were 98.7% and 99.9% for TSS. The ammonia averaged 0.8 milligrams a liter. We removed 89% of the nitrogen, and we were 62 pounds under the permit for the month. Total phosphorus averaged 45.2 pounds or 1.8 milligrams per liter. And our cake was 21.3. E. coli had a GO mean of 1.8.
Very good. So nothing stands out this month.
No,
And
we had one of the lowest Junes we've ever had on record here for nitrogen, which correlates with flow too, because we had low flow, but the plant's it's running really well right now.
Not much rain.
No, not except for the last 2 days, but even
Right.
that, I don't think yesterday. I don't even think then we got above 4.5 million. So it basically just went right in the ground. It was so dry. We usually drop the aeration tank in the summer for maintenance and cleaning, which we're going to do. But the plant's running so well, we're kind of putting it off to just let it go to maybe August or so, maybe September. Pump station construction repairs, June 9th, we changed the starter for pump 2 at Snowberry. We were planning to do this for a while, which would help alleviate the issues when pump 2 fails when it starts. We were kind of troubleshooting that for a couple of months, so far it's been working. West Farms, we had an overcurrent fault that we reset. It's the same one that comes on when the generator starts. We think if we did like a harmonic balancer there, it might alleviate it, but some of those alarms, it doesn't happen every time, so it's kind of like chasing electrical gremlins. But when it comes in, we just have to reset it. It's not a big deal. Patrick Flood Pump Station, we're gonna schedule the wet well cleaning probably for next month. I think I've showed you pictures before. It's a suction lift, so there's really no way to get the rags out unless you go in and clean it. So we clean it, keep all the priming cycles efficient. Yukon, put it online, bypass pumps were shut off on June 30th. INC controls were adjusted. We're still tweaking everything, but it's pretty much done for the most part. I did attach pictures here, so you can see the old wet well. You can see all the infiltration leaks we had. There's one here, it's hard to see with the light, two more, and a ton around the rings. That you can see here. We epoxied it. See how much cleaner it is.
they certainly did a nice job. Now, is that our people or the subcontractor?
Half and half. So in the discharge piping from, I think I had on last month, from here back, we installed these. So essentially, in this picture right here, we installed these pipes outside and we had the pit open and we were doing the DI piping. And then we had it sandblasted, and then this was the subcontractor putting in these. Truth be told, if we did it again, we'd probably just do the whole piping ourselves, right?
Mhm.
Because when we put these in, it's a 10-foot pipe that's connected to a Hymax fitting on the other side of this wall. You had to guide them in at an angle, and this wet well is like 10 feet 2 inches. So you have room, but it's very tight. So we had to kind of get creative with how we did the rigging. So that was them putting in the discharge pipe connected the one we put in here down. Rails for the pump. So essentially now when the pump goes down, it just slides down on the rails and sits. Before we kind of had to feel it out to see where it was going. This is with all the pumps in. It's kind of hard to see them, but all the cables and then the chain. So essentially we have the clevises. So we pick up the chain halfway up because it's 26 feet deep, and then you pick the second clevis up and get the rest of the pump. So that's why the chains are there. The new PLC here, which is a touchscreen that NIC works on, and then the 3 new VFDs in your intrinsic safe barrier here. So everything comes in through here, and then your new VFDs. And on the old ones, if you remember, they were probably up to here on the wall, and they were the entire length of the station. So everything's much cleaner and up to date.
So did we do the cleanup and the painting in that?
We cleaned up and we painted here. We're actually gonna the only thing we've left is we're gonna epoxy the floor. Like we epoxied the RAS building too. So we're gonna do that, but everything in here, other than electrical, like we helped out with too. So that is complete.
Like quality work?
Yeah, that was a station where it wasn't our oldest, it wasn't the worst, but Yukon is one that you don't want to have issues with.
Yeah.
Along with Hyde, Stanley, or Patrick, or West Farms, you don't want issues with those 5. So Stanley is fairly new, Hyde is new, Yukon is brand new, and then Patrick, we may use something with that too to convert to submersibles, maybe the force main, and then West Farms, which we have the second station being designed for. So at that point, a lot of the big ones are pretty much good to go.
So what improvements do we gain with this work, the controls?
With this,
Yeah,
a ton. So before it was like an old radio RTU system coming back to the plant, which isn't the pumps itself, but it's alarms. So we would have to like pick and choose what alarms we wanted to have, right? Because there's only, let's say, like 15 INOs. So we had like pump fail, smoke alarm, which you have to have, and intrusion, high wet well, stuff like that, right?
mhm.
And when you have 3 pumps and you have a high and a low for amps, it's like you've already used half your input and output. So going with the full PLC, you can pretty much add whatever you want. So now we have like CO fails, temp fails, amp fails, high level, low. Like there's so many other options. The other thing we did with it was the epoxy will help basically from any corrosion because that was the station where they had the force main collapse. So the epoxy wasn't cheap, but I basically told finance if we're going to do this, it was $90,000 to bypass the station and 60 to epoxy. So you're going to spend 60 now or 150 to do it down the road. So that'll help with corrosion. You'll definitely get better energy efficiency with the new VFDs. The old ones pretty much look like a Frankenstein lab. I'll take a picture of them because we have them at the plant because we're scrapping them, but they were almost as tall as this divider here, and the new ones are smaller than the refrigerator. And then obviously we went with primary pressure transducer for level control, ultrasonic transducer backup. So in the event the primary fails, it goes to your ultrasonic. The PLC can fail and the ultrasonic will still run the pumps. And then if that fails, we have a 3-fault backup, 1 for each pump. So there's probably 4 or 5 fail safes built into. What else? Yeah, just capabilities to basically add efficiency, get alarms back we didn't have before, and then really just help the infrastructure make it another 30, 40 years. And the big plus too is moving forward, any station we upgrade is going to be cellular based, which goes through the PLCs. We have radio now, which is still good, but for the radio to work, it comes up from West Farms to Batterson, South Road to here. So let's just say, like right now, there's a ton of leaves on the trees. Sometimes the antennas get interference and then we don't have communication. So the cellular just, in my opinion, it runs better. Not many people are doing radio anymore. So we were able to upgrade that when we did the station. Just scroll up a little bit. Okay. Pump station upgrades collection systems. Assistant electrician digging the area for the commuter lot line and breaker. That was across the street. Somebody had drove into one of the electrical poles and snapped it in half. So we put a new box behind it that was there before. Avon flow meter was reset and faulted during the storm we had. We cleaned back drains on Crosswoods because we're paving up there. We jetted Basswood, Berry Lane, Crestwood, Fernwood, Maplewood, Michael, Pamela, Rosewood, Springwood, and Thornwood.
Spent a month in the Highlands. huh?
Yeah, yep. Well, because a couple of years ago, I think it was, we had the blockage on the bottom, so now we try to keep up with it and get everything going as soon as we can once it
Yeah.
warms up. We completed fog inspections at Bank of America, Rubats and River Road, and TCC. And the meat irrigation pump that provides water to all the fields. Technically, we'll go out and we change the motor on it. We change the collar on it and a coupler. The actual pump itself it's probably, I'm gonna say 20 or 25 feet deep. It's a vertical hollow shaft, so there's 3 shafts, and then it's basically an impeller on the bottom. So we got a quote for them. We're gonna send that over, so they'll have a pump and a motor as critical spares. Throughout the month of June, we cleaned the right of way from Burnt Hill Road to Middle Road. Repairs and maintenance at the plant. We had the annual crane truck inspection done. The watering press 1 randomly faulted on startup. We're still troubleshooting this. We did replace the relays and it did fault again after I wrote this. It happens once a month. So it's one of those things that even if you're there chasing it, if you reset it and start it again, it doesn't happen. So we're just trying to find out what's causing it. June 11th, the F-150 went to the Ford dealership for a transmission issue. It was related to a sensor which was replaced. We had a plastic control knob on the polymer system brake. We ended up just epoxying it. And then we bought 2 for critical spares. And then we put it on once one of them came in. June 20th, we had a power blip at the plant. Everything was reset, ran without a problem after. And we had a conveyor fault for dewatering press 1 and 2. Don't know what caused it. We reset it and ran the whole weekend after that. As in the previous report, we are under permit by 62 pounds. I think. Yeah, that's it for the June.
Who does that crane inspection? What?
Kraus, Connecticut, something crane service, I think.
Okay, but somebody independent.
Yep.
That comes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and it's tricky too because we have the crane truck is one service. The lift we have in the garage for the trucks is a second service, and then our chain falls and everything else is another service.
Okay.
So, but we get them all checked for OSHA and everything once a year.
Yep.
And lateral sewer reports, there was a bunch of repairs this month, and then just fees collected and sewer assessment paid for Sandbar Trail and the Hardin Way.
Mark, going back to Yukon for a minute,
Yes,
are we 100% done at this point?
100% done, short of just like adjusting 4 to 20 signals for stuff and getting the flow meter going. The flow meter was in. I didn't attach pictures for that. I'm gonna do it for the it'll be September now because we don't have a month meeting next month. But we put the flow meter in last Tuesday, and on the prints there was a valve after the flow meter. In reality, there was no valve, which just wasn't there. So the force main from the top of the jug handle when you drive down all the way to the station, we had to drain and pump into trucks. So we drained 30,000 out of the force main while keeping up with the Yukon flow. So we came in at 2 in the morning and finished about 6:30.
Wow.
But once we were done, so the flow meter's in, we just have to calibrate it and then just run the wires. But the station itself is 100% done. Parking lot's wide open. I don't even think the contractor has anything left there. So
Now, refresh my memory on that contractor who,
it was Fuji.
New Haven or.
Yeah, and then the actual subs we had was Hesto Electrical and Hosner for the civil and the actual level work.
And everybody performed.
Yeah, I mean, I would say 7 out of 10. I mean, we only had 3 change orders, and most of them were just all the chains in here. We changed, 304, 316 stainless just to get the best stainless we have because it's corrosive in there. And then we added a coupler where the flow meter was because there's no room to put it in without it. So it's small stuff. They were pretty good.
Mhm.
and they're coming back to wire it and everything, so I don't think we really had any major issues.
Well, good to hear.
Short of a high change order for the discharge piping, but we ended up doing it ourselves, so we didn't pay it.
Mhm. That works out well.
Yeah.
Let's see, then just explain that the engineer report, the new item 3 there, that.
Yep, so we are just waiting on, I actually spoke with DPC engineering yesterday. And they're doing the last survey for the MDC pump station upgrade. So once they have that, they should be able to give us a pretty hard number on where we're gonna be. I expect probably by the September meeting we'll have it, so we'll have an idea what that station or stations plural enforcement will cost. And then before Jim and I were discussing, the only other things that I would update to that, because UConn is obviously, not UConn, I'm sorry, MDC would be a big ticket item. But the only other ones would be the passive flood force main, which we may incorporate into that depending on price. And then if we were to change the suction lift pumps to submersible, we would see what the cost for that would be too. So. That's pretty much it.
So in the works. All right, any new business? No. Okay, any unfinished business? Do I hear, do we have any other business to come before the authority? Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, thank you very much.